Now, there is something defensively you can do against seeking weapons that has nothing to do with you firing weapons at it. Each SSD, when you look at it, will have shuttles on it. Some will have one, some will have two, some will have four, but they'll have shuttles aboard the ship. And you can choose to charge one of those shuttles into a wild weasel. Now, doing so, when you do that, will make it, the penalty will be it is a power drain, so one weapon system will not be charged. I.e., let's say I'm charged a wild weasel on turn 1, then I can only choose to charge my phasers or my heavy weapon, whichever one it is I choose, but I cannot charge both of them. I can only charge one weapon. Once the weasel is charged, however, the next turn, if I charge my weapons again, I can charge both my weapons. It doesn't cost me anything to hold the weasel in charge. Now, in this scenario that we've got set up here, if you remember from the last video, the Gorn has dropped a Type R plasma at the Klingon ship in front of him. The Klingon ship had assumed that that was going to happen, and in the earlier part of the turn, because as the cycle works out here, you have declare special actions, and your special action was to launch your wild weasel. So I put this shuttle out, and any seeking weapon that is fired at this ship will go after the wild weasel. But now that the wild weasel is deployed, I can no longer fire my weapons. All my sensor rating, everything I do is to keep that ship charged and alive, calling in every seeking weapon to it to be destroyed. So I can't fire, I can move, but I cannot fire any weapons. I can't do anything as long as that weasel is active. I can choose when and if I deactivate the weasel and then charge my weapons, but while it is active, drawing in the seeking weapons, I cannot do anything. So an example would be in movement, then I would move away, and the plasma torpedo would head towards the wild weasel. But I can't fire, I can't do my weapons, so the attacker could move and fire on me, and there's nothing I can do to return fire. I can keep my shields up, but I can't do anything as long as that weasel is active. I only get the number of wild weasels that I have shuttles. Once I either deactivate the wild weasel or the wild weasel is destroyed, the shuttle has counted as being used. So if I only have one shuttle box, I can only do the wild weasel one time during the encounter. If I have two, I can do two, and there on out until I don't have any shuttle boxes left.
What about anti-drones?
Anti-drones is a drone rack that is a direct fire weapon. So some ships, mostly Klingon, have what they call an anti-drone rack aboard their ship. That would be the same thing we just originally discussed when we were doing defensive fire. After all the ships are fired, if you chose to save a weapon to fire at the drones, you could at that time use your anti-drone rack at one of those weapons and fire your drone at the other drone, and it's called a direct fire weapon in that it immediately goes out and attacks the drone and destroys it.